take it, especially when the freeway gets blocked up. He's got a couple of opportunities to get back on the freeway from that area. Right now, working northbound once again. Looks like you can see some of that traffic coming up on Vernon right there, just making his turn right there. Westbound, there he goes. He's going to go back over to Figueroa or get on the freeway. Right there, making some crazy turn. Here we go, southbound 110. And he's making these moves. This is the really dangerous stuff. Right now, it's kind of a cat and mouse game that he's playing with LAPD. Not sure what this guy's end game is, but hopefully his end game is not going to involve somebody being injured. Southbound 110. And we can see that vehicle. This time he's not in that high carpool lane. He's down low, and we got lucky. He actually came to us. So you can really see him there underneath that overpass right there. He's going to be working his way southbound again. At one point, we almost went to San Pedro, made a U-turn and came back. We'll see if that's the plan again. Perhaps he's going to take us back down to 94th, that neighborhood where he saw it earlier on. Right now, though, the big worry is that he's going to cause some sort of collision and injure somebody innocent that has nothing to do with this pursuit whatsoever. Right now, you can see that vehicle really starting to move out. Right there, a very high rate of speeds almost double the freeway speed. So you got to figure that's got to be 80s, maybe close to 90 miles an hour this evening. Now we got in the carpool lane. Very dangerous stuff for sure. LAPD kind of playing that game. Don't know, can we get this? Can we chase him? Is it worth it to chase him? It is just a stolen vehicle, but he's driving so crazy. These are the questions they have to ask themselves. This is the world we live in today where, the wrong decision could create such a problem for the law enforcement that is trying to get this guy to stop.
And Stu, while you're on that subject, what do you typically see? We're talking about tracking mode, discontinuing a pursuit, a cat and mouse game. What do you typically see with these chases? When do officials or law enforcement actually have to pull back? When do they actually make that decision? When is it too dangerous?
Well, that's every agency and every officer that is in charge at that time. It falls on them. It really does. I mean, obviously, any of these law enforcement agencies, they have some kind of rule book. They have guidelines that they probably play by. But ultimately, it falls on a commander or somebody who's in that position, like that would be in the seat, that would have to make the call one way or another. And if it ends in a positive, yay, good, you get a pat on the back. If it ends in a negative, then then you have to do some explaining, and it is your fault. And I'm sure the weight of those decisions obviously falls on these officers, and they take these things extremely seriously, and it get very emotional. Right now, though, you can see him passing traffic in the emergency lane, extremely high speeds. Somebody makes a wrong turn, somebody does something that this guy blocks this guy. It could be a catastrophe, and then everybody's going to judge later on. It is a very difficult situation for sure. Wouldn't want to be any one of those guys. Right now, though, I can tell you this guy that we're watching right here, he needs to slow it down. He needs to bring this to an end. Very, very dangerous moves out here this evening. Vehicle moving very, very quickly. Sometimes officers can run a plate. If the vehicle wasn't stolen, they could say, okay, well, we know it belongs to this guy, that he lives at this address, and we'll pick him up later on. We'll handle it then. This vehicle, paper plates on it. They understand that it is stolen. Somehow they get some information. Looks like we're getting off the freeway now. 110 freeway. We were driving southbound for some time. Going to get a little bit wider just so I can get a better idea. I don't hear them talking, so I'm thinking we're going to probably be somewhere over by Imperial Highway, making his way down there. Now we're getting on the surface streets out here. This vehicle still moving very, very quickly. This is the area we saw him earlier on, so he's kind of going back to this one spot. LAPD, there's a lot of officers out here from earlier on, basically waiting for this guy to come back. Hopefully, this will come to an end with something. Maybe the truck runs out of gas. Maybe this guy just comes to his senses. But right now, though, extremely dangerous. I swerve every time I see the shadow of a person anywhere near this vehicle this evening.
Or anytime he goes through an intersection, it's a red light. And, traffic doesn't see this happening. It's nighttime. Let's bring it to speed real quick. We'll let Stu get some information that he can. We are overhead of a pursuit that's happening in South L.A. at this point in time. We understand the driver is behind the wheel of a large SUV that appears to be a Chevy Tahoe, which is a stolen vehicle. We understand police initially pursued in what appeared to be undercover police cars. And maybe this was some sort of surveillance they had on this individual or that vehicle, which, by the way, has paper plates. And then there was some pursuit that started at that point in time. We understand now there has been some marked LAPD units that are involved in this. We've seen this driver rear-end a vehicle at a slower speed in a neighborhood, but it's gotten all the way up to 80, 90 miles an hour, and then has run red lights in the neighborhood and also gone all the way over from the right-hand lane to the left-hand lane on the highway. And this driver here is very erratic driving, running through red lights. And Susie, as I mentioned, rear-ended a car. We don't think there were any injuries at that point in time. And we think it's just the driver in that SUV, that Tahoe, that is now being chased.
That's right, as far as we know, and we know that this is a stolen vehicle, so that's why police are in pursuit, but we don't know why else this person is running. We also know that they've been traveling the same neighborhood off and on the 110 freeway, then back in South Los Angeles. I think he or she has been there about 4 or 5 times already, just in the time that we've been covering it. And we don't know why this person keeps going to that neighborhood. Maybe they are familiar with it, and it's really just scary to watch them. As you can see on the right side of your screen, some footage from earlier, watching this happen. And when they go over neighborhoods with speed humps or speed bumps.
Right. You know there's children in it.
Exactly, and you know there's a reason why.
Come to an end, come to a sense, say, hey, I'm going to bring this to an end. But they usually never do. And when they do, it's always some kind of weird ending. Right now, though, we can tell you can see that lane coming to an end right there. Manchester's going to be the first off-ramp that he's coming to because we're making the northbound. And he's going way over, going to try to use that emergency lane to pass all these other vehicles. There's another merging lane right there. Luckily, we've only seen contact with one vehicle this evening. He's had several close calls on the surface streets, not so much on the freeway. Lucky for all the people involved, but on the surface streets, on Figueroa, there's probably been multiple very close calls if he hasn't just swapped paint with other vehicles. Right now, though, this guy continues to run from officers. This Tahoe working to its limits right here. That V8 probably working out, and that vehicle's whoa, and that's part of the issue right there as well. These higher speeds, that heavy car, those brakes are going to start getting tired, and you're going to see something like that. Now, these Tahoes, they're not really known for rolling over, but this one right there, with these type of maneuvers and those type of fishtail transitions, very, very difficult to see. Looks like we're going to be working our way southbound on Broadway out here, paralleling the 110.
Go. So let's go back up to Stu. Stu, I have a question for you related to the fact that a number of units now have kind of backed off. Does that indicate that they may know who this is and they're trying to maybe catch up with him later?
That kind of information, not even privy to us up here in Sky 9. We can't really say for sure. What I can tell you, though, the helicopter is going to stay over it as long as they can. And when they start getting fuel, they're going to call for one of their buddies, and then somebody else is going to come and help them out. Officers are still know where this guy is. Officially, they are in tracking mode, as I understand it. I'm going to go a little bit wider, but if they are, I'm sorry to say that the officers are still behind them there, so perhaps this is a full-blown pursuit again. Making a hard braking right there. I did see some sparks come out of the car, out of the Tahoe when he hit a couple bumps over there a few moments ago. Possibly he's going to start losing a tire right now. There's a lot of smoke coming out of the back of the vehicle, and now we're hearing the vehicle has come to a stop out there. I'm going to get an area where I'm sure we're not going to be able to get over there. But we're going to try to get a little bit closer. We understand somebody is running from the vehicle right now. We're going to try to get a little bit closer, but LAX very busy this evening, not allowing clearance to work our way over here. We are extremely low. This is going to be 5-9, so that's going to be 59th and Normandy. 5-9 and Normandy is where this came to an end. Not sure what exactly happened. We're hearing something about possible medical issues right now. The vehicle has come to a stop. We did see a lot of smoke earlier on. And you can see the guy laying there on the ground. Now, that is not, I have to repeat, that is not from officers. Something happened with the vehicle. The vehicle came to some kind of crazy stop, and the guy fell out of the vehicle. You can hear the officers calling for an RA, saying this person possibly having a seizure right now. You can see them breaking the window because they want to clear that vehicle as quickly as possible to get officers over to that driver as quickly as possible. Not sure what happened here in the end. It was an unusual end for sure. Made that crazy turn right there. We saw a lot of smoke, like he was locking up the brakes for pretty much no reason. Suspect is now in custody, but apparently, even before they cuffed this guy, he fell out of the vehicle and is unconscious. Now, some people are going to say, why are you cuffing this guy? He is a suspect, and we don't know. Possibly he's faking it. We do not know. These are not medical doctors. These are law enforcement officials. They have called for an ambulance right now. You can see them sitting this guy up. They probably are going to be talking to him. Pursuit end now. South Los Angeles, 94th Street and Normandy is where this came to an end.
Yeah, we understand medical issues. I mean, you hear about somebody having a seizure, and certainly we don't know exactly what has happened, but you wonder if that might be a drug overdose or something like that. They might have had this guy that take off from police, and then maybe he's to the point where he's been overcome by whatever this is, and decided to stop and has passed out in the middle of the street there. I believe it's 59th in Normandy, is that
That's
correct?
correct,
Yeah,
yes.
59th in Normandy.
Yeah, this is a very unexpected end to a police pursuit tonight. We thought at first that he might be running on foot, but it looks like he wasn't able to due to some sort of medical issue. You can kind of see him stumbling as police officers have him. You can see him stumbling again. Looks like he is handcuffed, and they're going to start walking over to the sidewalk, I guess, to see if they can't render some medical aid to him first. They're waiting for an ambulance right now at this point, so you can only wonder, Jeff, what happened at the end of this pursuit. But he was driving there very erratically and at a high rate of speed for a very long time there, for at least half an hour since we've been on it. And looks like this is the end of the pursuit, though.
Isn't that the way it is? I mean, you just never really know how these things are going to end, and that's what makes it so interesting to follow these pursuits. Is this guy is in a large SUV. We understand it.